Admittedly, the most powerful argument against the God of the Bible is the problem of evil and suffering. The argument usually goes something like this. If God is good, he wouldn't want evil. If he is all-knowing, then surely he knows about evil. And if God is all-powerful, then he must be capable of stopping or removing it. So, why does he allow evil and suffering to continue? If there really was a good God with the power to stop evil and suffering, he would do something about it. This argument has troubled many people. There are many layers to answering this objection, and certainly a short video won't fully handle this question. However, I want to share one less common way to address this. There is an event tucked away in the Bible in 1 Kings 14 from 3,000 years ago that will help us think about this from a fresh angle. In the book of 1 Kings, the nation of Israel divides into the northern and the southern kingdom. Jeroboam becomes king in the north and establishes his own way of worshiping to prevent his people from going to the south and worshiping at the temple. Famously, he made the golden calves. After he made the golden calves, we come to this event. Consider the narrative that unfolds in 1 Kings 14, 1 through 3. At that time, Abijah, the son of Jeroboam, fell sick. And Jeroboam said to his wife, "Arise and disguise yourself, that it not be known that you are the wife of Jeroboam, and go to Shiloh. Behold, Ahijah the prophet is there, who said of me that I should be the king over this people. Take with you 10 loaves, some cakes, and a jar of honey, and go to him. He will tell you what shall happen to the child." Imagine their son, Abijah, on this sickbed. We're not told how old he is, but he certainly doesn't sound like he's a 15 or a 20-year-old. You can picture this child sweating and groaning in pain. Why would a good and loving God allow this son to be sick? Jeroboam wants his wife to disguise herself and ask the prophet what the child's fate will be. We learn God's answer given through the prophet Ahijah in verses 10 through 13. "Behold, I will bring harm upon the house of Jeroboam, and will cut off from Jeroboam every male, both bond and free, in Israel, and will burn up the house of Jeroboam as a man burns up dung until it is gone. Anyone belonging to Jeroboam who dies in the city, the dogs will eat, and anyone who dies in the open country, the birds of the heaven shall eat. For the Lord has spoken it. Arise, therefore, go to your house. When your feet enter the city, the child shall die, and all Israel shall mourn for him and bury him. For he only of Jeroboam shall come to the grave, because in him there is found something pleasing to the Lord, the God of Israel, in the house of Jeroboam." Jeroboam's wife came inquiring specifically about their sick child, but she got much more information than she was anticipating. She is told that all her children will die and won't be given proper burials. As far as the child who is sick, he's going to come to the grave before all this calamity happens. What's the reason? In verse 13, it is because in him there is found something pleasing to the Lord. How does this make sense? This is a jarring rationale for allowing the death of a child, but we see that God is going to spare this child from the greater calamity that's coming. The child's death is actually a divine rescue from a future filled with destruction. So as it turns out, God is pleased with this child, and it is precisely because of God's love that he's allowing the child to die in this moment. For Jeroboam and his wife, this answer was revealed to them. For us today, there may be justifiable reasons for suffering that we simply don't have access to at this moment. Sometimes the justifiable reason is that God is sparing someone from something worse. After all, in a biblical worldview, death isn't the worst thing that can happen to somebody. When people point to the suffering of innocent children and conclude that God is a monster, they need to be challenged with this thought. If you're going to criticize God, you need to at least understand the worldview of the Bible. If the Bible teaches that children are innocent and there is an afterlife, then they will ultimately be okay. Because skeptics believe this life is all there is, they can have a hard time acknowledging that at least in the biblical worldview, there is an answer to this. They may not like the answer or agree with it, but sometimes the suffering they use as an argument against God is actually a result of God's mercy and love. I like how Timothy Keller summarizes what we're saying. Just because you can't see or imagine a good reason why God might allow something to happen doesn't mean there can't be one. Again, we see lurking within the supposedly hard-nosed skepticism an enormous faith in one's own cognitive faculties. If our minds can't plumb the depths of the universe for good answers to suffering, well, then, there can't be any. This is blind faith of a high order. Keller's point is that when we disbelieve in God based on the fact that we can't see a good answer to why He allows evil and suffering, we're not being rational. We're being arrogant, ignoring the very real possibility that there is a good answer that simply lies outside our ability to comprehend. In fact, Christianity teaches that greater good can be accomplished through the sufferings we experience in this life. In the biblical way of thinking, there is an ultimate good that we don't have full access to right now. When we look at the suffering in the world and then consider that God can use it to bring about a greater good, the matter of evil and suffering becomes less a reason to doubt God's existence or goodness and more of a testimony to the love and power of God, who can offer us true meaning and hope, even in our trials. Romans 8:18 offers this promise: "The sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is going to be revealed to us." The God of the Bible is not a monster who turns a blind eye to suffering. He is a compassionate Father who is working through the trials we face to bring about our eternal good.